So my microphone was plugged into my Media Mod case and everything seemed to be working properly. For some reason it wasn't capturing audio. The video does gain audio about halfway through when I switch to the GoPro case when it starts raining. You can fast forward then or just bear with me, I've already sped it up. I will be talking about some other things throughout the video, like this douchebag right here and his stupid truck, and this impatient lady up here in this Jeep who's tailgating this poor guy on this slow Honda Shadow. This is like the second time I've passed this guy. I got fuel, he passed me, I passed him, I stopped to take a leak, I passed him again. Anyways, that lady was tailgating him. She tried to block me there, so I decided to show her what a real motorcycle can do. I passed her and she didn't like that. She began to try to catch up. That lady in the white Jeep is still there behind me. You can see her coming up on my right side, or left side actually, right there, yeah. And I had to walk away from her again. She thought her car was fast at 100. I decided to show her it wasn't. I backed off because I'm busy paying attention to the weather. As you can see, up in those mountains, it's getting dark. I do have to drive through those. That guy in the red truck thinks it's funny to try to smoke out bikers. Little does he know that's just unused diesel he's wasting. He's just wasting money right there, and it's bad for his truck. And I do like the smell of diesel, so it doesn't really bother me. Right about here, you can start to smell the rain in the air. I decided to put the case on. I wasn't going to risk getting my camera wet or having to try to do it on the side of the road in the rain. That's one of the big things that helps when riding in the rain, is knowing when to put your gear on and when to pull over and get your stuff ready, so you're not trying to do it in a hurry on the side of the road. Here in a few seconds you will see where the road is beginning to get wet, and you will see some dry spots from where passing vehicles. Tires right there, you can see above my RPM gauge, and off to the side that's the warm spot of the road where the vehicles are drying the water essentially. You can see by the center stripe and the yellow and white lines on the side that they're standing water. That's something you have to watch out for. It could make you hydroplane, and that's where your wheels begin to float and you'll lose traction and could wipe out. The paint lines on the road will also be slippery. You want to avoid riding in the middle of the lane. That's where the engine of the car is, so it's going to be dropping oil, gas, antifreeze, other liquids that could cause you to lose traction. Main thing is just take it easy, go slow. You're not worried about getting wet. That's part of the adventure, and in the long run it makes you a badass for being able to ride in the rain. You can kind of see the water starting to form puddles and flow towards the low end of the road. You need to pay attention for that when taking turns on the inside or the outside. Pay attention for puddles. Like you can see right there, I had to cross through the wet to make that curve. Normally I try to use the whole road. I'm using the whole lane right there, going from 1 to 3 to lessen my curves. In a few, I'm just going to start using both lanes and essentially making it a 6-lane road for me. And you can see the water start to pool up more along the middle of the road right there. Those are hazard areas. You're going to want to watch out for stuff like that. This is the turn I'm talking about, where I decide I'm just going to use the whole road. I can see water pooling from the high side going down to this drain right there by my mirror. There was actually a small puddle there I had to drive through, but I saw it coming and was able to hit it with the proper speed and the right angle. This vehicle off to the side of the road, I believe, was a cop. That's the only reason why I got back in the right lane, because that's the lane for traveling. Otherwise, I would have just passed this truck. This overspray that's coming off of the trailer right now on the wheels is something that's going to happen with every vehicle you encounter on the road during a rainstorm. The best situation, or the best thing to do in that situation, is to give yourself some space, back away from the vehicle, because it's going to be throwing twice the amount of water at you. If it's raining, you'll have that to deal with, and then you'll have the spray coming off of the cars. You can see how there's some dry spots and some wet spots on the pavement. That's actually the worst part about riding, is the first few minutes it starts to rain, and then the last few minutes after it's stopped, because that's when the oil and the contaminants on the street will be the slickest, and it has just a little bit of water on it. When it's raining and you have like a full-on downpour, you really don't have to worry about that too much. You can skip forwards in the video and see what I'm talking about, or just wait, it's coming up pretty soon. I was actually traveling faster through that area, but it is a straight 2-lane highway, level ground, not a twisty mountain road in the rain. There's no traffic around me right now. There is a vehicle behind me, but it's far enough back I felt comfortable doing the speed limit. No need to push myself. It's a construction zone. We're all going to have to slow down anyways. That scenario I was talking about when I passed that semi-truck on that one hill is about to happen right here. This truck behind me is impatient. He's in a hurry, and he's pushing me closer to the traffic than I want to be. And you can see right here, I'm already dealing with overspray coming off of that car. It's no longer raining. That is solely water that is coming. I think that is the second time I wiped my visor behind him. You can see how many times I end up wiping my visor. And like I said, it is not from the falling rain. It is just from what his wheels are kicking off the ground and just the wind rushing underneath his car and by it. Like I was saying, the best thing to do right now is just give yourself some space. Look for problems and hazards along the road. Don't worry about the guy behind you. Worry about what you're doing, and worry about what the guy in front of you is doing. The worst case scenario, you wipe out, that guy behind you fucks you up, or the guy in front of you wipes out and you don't see it and you run into him. So just be cautious, go slow, easy movements. You can see right now I'm kind of traveling in the danger zone I was talking about, where you're dealing with the contaminants that fall from the engine and the underside of every car that travels down the road you're on. You notice my camera is getting dirty. I'm not really worried about that too much. It is the least of my problems. Wipe your helmet before you deal with your camera. I can tell just by how I wiped it the first time that it's still dirty. Just, like I said, pay attention to the things that are important. Your vision and how you're operating your car. And you notice the traffic in the back slowed down once I started slowing down. Essentially not worrying about what they thought, did what I had to do. They realized, alright, back off. And he's probably about 25 feet to 50 feet behind me. I'm about 50 feet or so behind this car in front of me, and I'm still getting overspray just from his wheels. See all them potholes? That's something else you have to watch for when it's raining. Those will be puddles. You won't know it's a hole. You think you're just gonna ride through a little puddle on the road and end up smashing your front rim, endoing your bike. You know, it could be very detrimental to your day. Right now, the construction zone's kind of weaning out. I think we open back up to 2 lanes. No, that's right, we switch over. It takes us over to the next lane. because we're going to close the right side up here in a bit, I believe. See, that lady had an opportunity to cut me off and get in, but she saw me. You need to pay attention for those who don't see you. Right now it's actually starting to rain. You can hear that noise hitting my helmet. That is falling rain, not overspray. Another thing I want to add about riding in the rain, your helmet will fog up. It's going to be cold outside. You're going to be exhaling warm air. You're going to cause some sort of fog on your lens. They do sell anti-fog you can spray on there. Best thing is just keep it clean, keep all the greases off of it. Here in a bit, the vehicle that is behind me that has been impatient because he's a truck, and he doesn't worry about rain, because when you drive in a car, you kind of get this false sense of, I know what I'm doing and I can do anything. Let that guy pass. There's no need for me to pass this car in front of me. I'm in not that big of a hurry. Get this guy out from behind me. I can take it a little easier. Here in a few, I'm going to drop off this mountain and we'll be on level ground, and it'll still be raining, but like I said, it's level, it's straight. So I've just gotten fuel. My bike is heavier now. I have a full tank of gas. That's another 6 gallons of liquid, plus my weight and my wet clothes. I'm traveling down I25 south right now. The weather is getting worse. I've decided to continue down I25 south instead of shooting through the back roads and coming down the mountains, because you can see off to the left it's really dark over there, and that's a scenario no one wants to be in. No cell phone service, horrible weather, a motorcycle, 2 lanes out in the middle of nowhere. It'll be a long time before a car comes by, or worse, something happens and you're way out there. You guys got to remember, the farther you are away from help, the longer it's going to take help to get to you. You can see I'm traveling about 65, 75 is the speed limit, I believe, through here. It's not raining too hard. The ground seems fairly dry, so I'm not too worried about it. Worst case scenario, you hit a bump like that, lose traction, hydroplane, you give it too much throttle, or stop too quickly, or lean too hard, you'll lose it. As long as you keep good center balance, keep it straight, you shouldn't have too much to worry about. At one point here, I believe I hit 90 miles an hour in the rain. Vehicle doesn't act any different than it normally would in the dry. I only did it to overtake the truck and trailer that was causing spray. I could have slowed down, but I'm about 200 miles, 300 miles into my 600-mile trip, so I was kind of in a little bit of a hurry. south of Raton, New Mexico, north of Santa Fe, or northeast of Santa Fe a bit. Just some scenery. Mountain range looked pretty cool. Sunset looked pretty cool. Pretty close up on that mountain range. Still trying to dry some of the water off of my visor. Still wet and cold from the rain, but starting to get a little warmer down here. Yeah, another thing you might want to watch out for. I'm not sure if this is the truck. Yeah, you see this tandem trailer, this wiggle wagon truck, the tandem trailer truck right there. You need to watch out for the wind that comes off of those. Each one of those boxes is creating its own draft, basically. And as it sways and wiggles down the road, it's creating a choppy wind. You need to watch out there. It can cause some crosswinds, knock you off your bike, or at least pull you out of the line you wanted to be in. I'm closer to, I believe, Albuquerque now. I'm not really sure where I may be in Belen or somewhere outside of north of Albuquerque. Pause that and read what that sign said. Who knows? So this BMW that will be coming into the frame shortly, me and him actually ended up running about 100 and 130 miles for a long time. We played not cat and mouse, but basically blocker for each other. He was a pretty cool cat. At one point outside of Albuquerque, we blew past the sheriff at 120 miles an hour, and he kind of just looked at us and let us go. A little bit later, I ended up in a sandwich between two BMWs. I think I'm traveling about 95 miles an hour right now, a little over 80 or 90 miles when he passes me. Yeah. And then we began to see who had the faster vehicle. Unfortunately, my camera died and I didn't change batteries because I was so close to home by the time I realized it was dead. I just wanted to get there. I didn't catch the cool stuff that happened in TRC, New Mexico. Hit 150 and 130 running down the road with this Volvo. Stopped to get fuel, ended up taking off on the highway and lost a turn signal. Lens in the rear ended up getting sucked out of the bike. I hit a pothole, was missing a screw, it took off. Damages to the bike by the time I got done, when everything was said and done, had stretched my chain, needs an oil change, and I put this ugly little stripe down the middle of my tires. Other than that, it was about almost, I want to say it was almost 1,200 miles in 24 hours. It was a good day, loved it. Wouldn't change it for anything in the world, dude. Get a motorcycle, you won't regret it. Till next time, guys, I'll leave you with this little video. I call it Headbutting the Dandelions.